everyone, welcome to It's All Grady. I'm Denise.
And I'm Marcel.
Welcome to our channel.
Yeah, welcome to our channel. If you don't already know, we're a couple that gave up our city life for something different. And we found ourselves in north central Arkansas building our dream house and a homestead.
So previously on It's All Grady.
Yeah, what happened previously? Previously, guys, we got rained out twice in the same day. We tried so hard to get up there and do our fascia. Sometimes you have to admit defeat. It's okay though.
So despite the obstacles that we've been facing with the weather, we've been trugging right along with all the progress here on the homestead. But today we wanted to switch it up a little bit.
All right, guys, so today we're going to share 5 things you should know before moving to Arkansas.
So we've been here for 4 years and we wanted to share with you 5 of the worst things that we've experienced since we've been here in Arkansas. So first up, and it has been a hot topic lately, is the extreme weather here in Arkansas. Now, Arkansas is a beautiful state, but the weather here is no joke.
Right? We have experienced countless storms. I remember our first year. We had like 4.5 inches in 30 minutes of rain, remember? It washed the whole property clean, guys. Everything was flooded out, and we were in a camper with tornadoes around us and big lightning storms, and it was scary. And how about that heat?
Oh, man.
We almost had people perish here on your birthday a couple of years ago because of the extreme heat. And it goes from extreme heat, guys, to extreme cold. We experienced a flash freeze like that. Froze all our water bottles and blew them up. That was our first year. There's a lot of lessons that we've learned, yeah?
Yeah, our first year, the heat was extremely shocking for us.
It was.
We did not expect that at all.
Yeah.
Now, coming from Colorado, we're kind of used to the heat. But when we moved here and had our first summer, wow, we were in for a shock.
Humid heat and dry heat are different. 100 here is like 1,000. And 100 in Colorado is like 1,000. Unless you're in the shade, then it's like 100 and it's nice.
Yeah. Some of those ice storms in the winter threw us for a loop.
Yeah, we had a lot of destruction out here, and it's common. There'll be power outages. They had a 14-day power outage in our area one time due to ice storms because it knocked the power out, and then the companies can't get to the stuff to fix it because there's too much ice.
And we experienced, what was it, 4 days without power due to it?
Yeah, 4 days. We went 4-day stretch, and it was tough.
That was back before we had all these sweet power units.
Yeah, we had 2 sweet power units, though. They just sucked up the gas. All right, yeah. And how about the flooding? We've experienced some really bad flooding in our immediate area, but a little bit further out from us, but not very far, devastating floods where the whole town is wiped or drowned or whatever.
Yeah, so those are pretty scary situations.
They are, but I have to tell you that the scariest of all was the night the tornado hit just right across the road from us, right across the highway from us.
Yeah, that night was crazy. We were all texting everybody, and I can't even believe that night a tornado hit so close.
So that's it, guys. There is some extreme weather here in Arkansas to contend with. That's the worst of the worst when it comes to weather. It's like the heat and the tornadoes for me. Everything else is pretty manageable, but the rest we are always trying to hide from.
So next up is healthcare access, you guys. Some of you know that I had a bad fall, and we ended up at an ER that could not handle head trauma.
Yeah, it was crazy, guys. 911 sent us to the wrong place, and then we had to backtrack 30 miles and go somewhere else just so you could be treated. That was scary, guys.
And here's something else that we've been thinking about lately is because the care is so rural out here, sometimes it requires a helicopter ride if it's an extreme emergency.
And if it's not an extreme emergency, the bill will be. Yeah? So there's options. None of them are free, but it's something that we have definitely had to take a really close look at because we have personal friends that have needed that and experienced some of those unexpected, the unexpected that comes with accidents sometimes is what I'll say.
Yeah. We've known a couple of people affected by it.
So if you have health issues or somebody that is planning on moving out here has health issues, that's something that you definitely want to consider.
Or if you have little ones.
Or little ones, yeah, because you might need to go here, you might need to go there because there's not a lot of them that have it all in one place. And that's what it is.
All right, you guys. So our number 3 here is, and to me, I think this should be number 1, is the bugs and vipers.
That's the only thing I'm more scared of than the tornadoes. You know what I mean? I'm going to tell you that our very first experience, we got ticks on us the very first day. Right? But then we were sitting down there by the pond one day, and there was a big black spider. And we took a picture of it, and the picture said it was a funnel spider. And I'm like, what? Those are from like the Amazon or something. You know what I mean? Those are the most deadly spiders ever. We're moving. It turned out it was a trapdoor spider, but it's still scary. And I think I've been bit by every single kind of bug here. Ticks. And the chiggers love me. Man, they love me. I taste so good. Them mosquitoes be feasting on us nonstop.
The mosquitoes here are something a little bit different. They're zebra striped, and the itch to them is, you can't itch it. There's no relief for it.
I don't even know if there is an itch. It's a hurt. It's a hurt. I used to love it. Itch a good mosquito bite. No, they ain't itchy no more. They just painful. And what else is painful?
Oh, those tick bites.
Tick bites, and how about a spider that sends you to the hospital? That was scary, guys. We didn't know what it was. It's even been worse than that.
Yeah.
How about it?
One morning, I was coming back in the house, and it was pitch black outside. Thankfully, I had our dogs with us because there was a copperhead on our porch, our front doorstep.
There was a Coppersaurus Rex out front, guys, and it was huge, and it was trying to eat her. And that is a reality here in Arkansas, is vipers, right? They're there. We had a dog, Bucks, got bit in the face, yeah? We have a neighbor who handles them, and he's been bit a few times, so he brings us a little comfort with his knowledge, knowing that they're not as poisonous as some can be, but them other ones are here too, man. A cottonmouth and the rattlesnakes, they're here, man. And the alligators are here. Now the alligators are south of us more, but there's other stuff here that's got named gator in it too, like an alligator snapping turtle. Let that thing get a hold of you.
So there are a lot of critters and creepy crawlies to be aware of. One of the things that Marcel and I had the shock of our life was spiders. They are everywhere.
They are. I thought that the last people just broke glass everywhere. Like they were maybe had a drinking problem or something and then smashed all their green beer bottles everywhere. You know, that's what I thought, because I seen like little green glowing glass everywhere, right? And then I was like, look at this, I'm telling you, it's right there. And I ran a flashlight up to this piece of glass, and it had 8 legs. And it was a spider. And then I shined in the woods, and there was 1 billion of those pieces of glass with 8 legs staring at me. Everywhere, guys. You got brown recluses and wolf spiders, and we're used to the widows, the black widows, guys. They got them here too.
All right, so that being one of the worst things that we've experienced, and it was kind of a hard lesson for us in the beginning. We used to slather ourselves down with insect repellent. We no longer do that.
No, it's like salad dressing for those things, man. They immune. They're like, oh, I go right past that, man.
And that's one of the worst things about Arkansas for us.
Definitely. I think it's my number 1. I think you're more likely to get bit by a snake or a tick than you are to get hit with a tornado. And it can run through your life like a tornado. It can make you allergic to steak. No. No.
Yeah, we've actually had friends that live here that have been affected by the tick illness.
Yeah. Oh, man.
So those are things to be concerned about and know before.
If you taste as good as I do, you better think about it. All right, guys, we just want to do a quick reminder. If you're not already subscribed to our channel, right now would be a really awesome time to do that. And if you're really digging us,
Ring that notification bell.
man, that is an awesome thing to do as well. And that thumbs up actually helps more than we could ever say, right? It's a perfect time because it lets YouTube know that you digging us and we digging you, and we're going to keep on rock and rolling with this info.
So our number 4 is rural clicks.
It certainly is. And that's a tough one to wrap your head around. Like, because I had a stereotype of what it would be to move out here, right? We were looking for we were expecting something different. We were kind of expecting what you get when you go on vacation somewhere. Everybody's so welcoming. They love you.
Yeah, we had a lot of good experiences while traveling. It seemed like pretty much everywhere we went, people were really pleasant. But once we moved here, we started to experience a little bit different.
They just want you to go after you stayed for a little bit. Moving here is something a little bit different. It's not like we can't, but there is a process.
So I think that I can relate in a lot of ways, and maybe you can too. When people move in your area,
you're curious, guys. Who are you and where are you from?
Yeah. And what are you going to bring to the community?
Exactly. So we even experienced one where the male person was like, are you on, they're going to be wondering if you're on witness protection. Yeah. I was like, what? That's pretty cool. Huh? All right, man. They're really going to have some exotic stories about us. And we can relate with that because we used to make up stories about people too. Yeah. If we didn't know, you know what I mean? We watch mysteries and stuff. Mm-hmm. All right then. So that was an experience. And it's other things too. Not always bad. Like everybody is real concerned, if they're concerned about whether you go to a church. So that's a way to be accepted in. And there's deep roots out here. There's deep roots. Family ties go back generations, right? So if you're not from around here, it could be very difficult to be accepted around here. But if you're a good person, for the most part, you're probably going to find your way. We've experienced rejection. We did experience rejection. And it was from people that are very close to us, our neighbor, right? Our neighbor was not very happy with the thought that we moved from a city, that we were city people. And that's a common concern for people out here in rural Arkansas, is that city people are coming. Well, we were. I mean, we were from the city, but if I was gonna try to move to Arkansas to be like city folk, I would have just stayed where I was, because Denver's is a way better city than any city in Arkansas. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? I moved out here to get away from the city. But that is a resistance that we had to actually experience. Now, that relationship is on the mend, and I'm very grateful for that. But it is something to consider, because people are very suspect, very suspicious about who you are and what are you doing here. Yeah.
I get it, you know.
I get it.
You want to have good neighbors, and sometimes people get concerned, and sometimes there's reason for concern.
Yeah, and sometimes people just don't know how to appropriately address concerns, right? There's different approaches for everybody. They call that different strokes for different folks, guys. And we are our way, and other people are their way, and that's just the way it is. Mm-hmm. All right, then.
So our final one is lack of competition brings the price up.
Yeah, if you guys thought moving out here to rural Arkansas was going to cut your cost of living in half, it's only going to probably work in housing, right? And that's if you're already willing to live in the housing that is available. There's a lot of cheap housing out here. But if you moving into something like was on our property, then it's cheap for a reason. The land is beautiful, but the construction, that's something else to talk about altogether. The lack of competition here is something that really costs us. In the city, there's 10 people trying to do the same thing. And that makes them be more competitive. That makes them step up their game. They want to do better than the last people. And
lower prices?
Lower prices, and it also drives innovation. That's what makes communities work, is competition. Out here, it's different. It's controlled. There's even a weird thing called a dry county. Now, if that isn't somebody trying to pick a winner and a loser, I don't know what is. You know what I'm saying? I'm not trying to understand all of it. All I know is if you tell somebody that they can't do it in one area, but another person can do it in another area, I don't understand the reasoning behind it. It doesn't sound right to me. But that's me. But those are the things that you have to learn by moving out here.
I never heard of it before we moved here.
And we've experienced like there's a lack of contractors available, right? And the ones that are there, some of them you wondering what they really up to, right? And they want a lot of money. You got to be careful, right? So they jack up the price and they stop the quality. The quality's not there. Not with everybody. There's some really kick butt companies out here. And I'm not trying to say bad about nothing.
So one of the things about not having much competition out here as far as like grocery stores go.
Yeah, and it might surprise some people how expensive the Dollar General could actually be. You know what I mean? Because there's no other competition, or there's very little competition, the prices are just high. And that's just the way it is. It's every experience I've had so far has been like that, even Walmart.
And it trickles over into the construction industry. We looked at it as far as, you know, us getting into some of it and just experiencing it with building here.
Yeah.
We had some experiences that were not so good.
We did. And I mean, I've had those experiences in the city, but a whole lot less because companies that want to make it are there. Out here is something different. So when there's no competition, there's no push to be better than the next person. Not saying that all the work out here is bad, but we did experience some shoddy work. Yeah, and I didn't want to experience that. And there was a lot of other things that raised red flags for us. And I know that that stuff comes from lack of competition because the attitude then becomes, I'm the only one in town. So you're going to buy whatever I want to sell you at my price. And I have issue with that. You know, that's a hard thing for me to wrap my mind around. It's a hard sell to move to a place like this, yeah?
And another huge thing to think about is, like, when things get shut down around here, oh my gosh, it is crazy.
Yeah, everything is shut down. In the city, when things were shutting down, we were still able to go from here to there to here to there, and we could figure it out, man. We were just all over the place, and we could handle things still. It was difficult, but out here, you don't have those options.
You only have one or two stores to choose from.
That's it. And when the supply chain is shut down and the bread and the eggs and the milk is gone, then that's what it is until they can get back. So that's what it is out here. Yeah, you want to be as self-reliant as possible. So pick up as many skills as you can.
Or stock up.
That's a skill, baby.
All right, and we wanted to bring you a bonus like we promised. Yeah. So
it's called the bonus bummer. This one here is like a dual purpose because it's also a good thing and it's a bad thing all at the same time, right? And that has to do with code enforcement. Out here in rural America and where we are specifically, definitely in the Ozarks, there's no code enforcement. Now, there's a universal building code that applies to everybody in this country, but there's no code enforcement. So out here, anything can go. And the place that was here was proof of that. When you find electrical junctions duct taped together, those are scary situations, right? And there was a house up the hill that burnt down, and a house down the hill on our property that burnt down, and Camper House was a house that burnt down, and that one was one that was waiting to burn down.
So fires are common due to
the lack of code enforcement, guys, because people can cut corners that way. So you never know what you're going to get out here, right? Unless you know. And that's just the way it is. Like, you can't even like pull a permit out here. If you wanted to, what I was instructed was, if you would like, what you can do is hire a professional company to come out and see what you've done. And then you'll know if you've done it to code. But there's no permit to be pulled. So you could end up with just about anything. Now, there are some restrictions. Yeah, if you have less than 10 acres, now some of these other things start to apply. But as you'll find, people will gladly break those rules in ways that you really need to be aware of, such as people with no plumbing and like just a few, maybe 7 acres of land, dumping their human waste on the ground, claiming that it's like some kind of compost when it's actually a biological hazard to your neighbors. And that's the kind of stuff that you can find out here because there's nobody to come out and enforce it.
Yeah.
So you have to know where you're moving and what you're getting into, because it could be shoddy work, it could be shoddy.
So a lot of these places sell land in small pieces. So if you have a close by neighbor, those are some things to think about.
Yeah.
Because where do you put those things?
Yeah, if you're not putting them where they belong.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And you're right. That's what they do. A big property can be broke down into small properties here and sold off, and those properties can actually fall under the same protections as a large property, and then you can really find yourself in those probably very unpleasant and unsafe conditions. Something to think about, man.
Yeah, something to think about.
I'll tell you right now, we had a landfill on our property when we moved in here. There was a landfill. You could never have that in the city. I mean, as bad as I wanted to get out of the city and as dirty as it was, you can get away with some stuff out here. Yeah. Sometimes you drive past people's houses and you're like, what in the world are they doing? Because then the next house is like beautiful. You know, you bringing the property value down or you bringing the property value up. So the good thing about it is, though, without that code enforcement, guys, is if you're willing to do it correctly, you're not going to lose the value of the work that you've done, right? Your investment, because this is an investment. It's worth doing it right? And in the end, you can do it. In the city, there were some things that you weren't allowed to do on your own without pulling permits, and some of those permits required licensing. And out here, if you can do it, maybe you can do it. And if you can't do it, you can still do it. I'm just saying.
Yeah. So. All right. So those are our things that we find to be the worst things about living in Arkansas.
Yeah.
Now, we also want to bring to you in another series 5 good things that we find about Arkansas.
So we are going to continue this, as part of something that's featured on It's All Grady. Outside of our build and our farm, we're going to add these. We had a pretty good response from you guys when we did why we moved out here and whether we're prepared and stuff. And now we want to talk about how we ended up out here and the things we experienced. And it just is fun. And I'm going to shout out Mike over at Ouachita Mountain Living real quick, because we got the idea. Well, actually, it wasn't the idea. We've already seen it many times. And they seem to always perform well, but we were looking for topics, and when we seen our friend Mike did very well on his, we were like, hey, let's talk about ours. So thank you, Mike, for finding a really interesting topic that people seem to love.
Yeah.
In the end, if you're moving out here, you expect it to be great anyways. So you really probably want to know the worst things first. After that, then dream, because if you do what we did, you could end up with a nightmare scenario, right? We fell in love with a dream and then we moved.
All right, you guys, we're going to wrap this one up for now. So we appreciate you guys for tagging along with us. So if you guys are enjoying our content, please be sure to give us a big thumbs up.
Bama-lama, baby.
Ring that notification bell.
And when you guys do that, they're going to let you know when our content is available for viewing. And that is so awesome. It's like a free TV guide, guys.
Yeah. Be sure to share our videos.
Man, that's like the greatest thing ever. If you want to help us, that's what allows us to come back tomorrow and do this all over again. You can share it, and we will love you for it. All right.
Subscribe if you haven't already.
Man, if you've held on this long, you hung out through this whole thing, you're not subscribed, what are you waiting for? Now is the time. It's perfect. We at the end of this. Show us some love.
We love and appreciate you.
Thanks for watching.
We'll see you on the next one.
Bye.
Peace.